The sixth generation of the BMW 3 Series, codenamed F30, is keeping less affluent BMW fans awake at night. They'd like to buy something newer, but are wary of the advanced technology and high repair costs. The car looks great, but you really need to approach the purchase with caution. The car was unveiled in 2011 and launched in 2012, while the E90 generation was still on sale. The sedan was first introduced, followed by the station wagon, which, interestingly enough, generated enormous interest for its body style. The Gran Turismo version, with an 11 centimeters longer wheelbase, was unveiled in 2013. In 2015, the BMW 3 Series underwent a facelift, altering the front and rear, primarily the headlights and bumpers. However, the most significant change was a new engine lineup, particularly the petrol ones, the most interesting of which was the 1.5-liter three-cylinder engine. These changes were dictated by the Euro 6 emission standard. Compared to its predecessor, the F30 featured a completely new platform and all new engines, all turbocharged. The chassis is, of course, multi-link, with adaptive dampers in many cars. The steering is electrically assisted, and the car regularly features the familiar driving assistance systems that are still featured today. The xDrive all-wheel drive system is a previously known solution with an electronically controlled clutch responsible for engaging the front axle. In practice, it works the same way in every BMW model. In the 3, it is tuned for sportiness with a rear-wheel bias, which provides near-perfect traction in snow or rain. The BMW F30 was exclusively equipped with direct-injection turbocharged petrol engines. Until the facelift, the N Series engine family was used, and after the facelift, the B Series, in both petrol and diesel versions. Four-cylinder petrol engines have a displacement of 1.6 or 2.0 liters and output ranging from 136 to 252 horsepower. There was only one six-cylinder engine, a 3-liter unit with 306 horsepower and 55, and after the facelift, 326 horsepower, B58. This, of course, excludes the sporty M3 version, which should be considered a separate model. The smallest unit, a 1.5-liter, has 3 cylinders. It debuted in 2015, replacing the 1.6-liter engine. The diesel range was similar. First came the N family, with 2.0 or 3.0-liter engines and power outputs ranging from 116 to 313 horsepower, followed by the B family. However, there was little difference here compared to the gasoline models, as the N57 engine in 2 power outputs did not find a successor and remained offered until the 2018 model year. There was also no shortage of hybrid BMW 3 Series models. 2 variants were offered. First, there was the BMW Active Hybrid 3 with a 6-cylinder petrol engine, a classic hybrid with 340 horsepower. In 2016, a plug-in hybrid and a 2-liter engine were introduced. The model was renamed 330e iPerformance, and system power was 252 horsepower. Both cars were rear-wheel drive only. To properly understand the model's nomenclature and associate it with the engine, it's no longer enough to stick to the rule that the number 2 in the middle is 2 liters and the number 3 is 3 liters. BMW typically used smaller engines than in previous generations. Therefore, it's worth using the list below. Apart from the hybrids, in all petrol variants and the 2-liter diesels, customers could choose between a manual gearbox and an 8-speed ZF automatic. Additionally, the petrol models had 2 automatic transmission options, regular and sporty. In the 3-liter diesels, this choice was gone. Customers received an automatic as standard. xDrive was offered as standard only with the most powerful 335D diesel, and as an option on all 2-liter petrol versions, except the pre-facelift 320i station wagon. The only diesels that weren't paired with it were the 316D and 320D efficient dynamics. Which engine to choose? Choosing an engine based solely on traction is simple in the BMW 3 Series. If performance isn't your priority, choose a model with the letter 1 in the middle of the name. If you're looking for a compromise between performance and fuel economy, the 2 in the name is for you. For those focused on good dynamics, there are models with the letter 3 in the name. And that's the best advice if you're not considering road use. Unfortunately, the choice isn't so simple. Suffice it to say that the petrol 316i is powered by the N13B16 engine, also known as the EP6 or Prince, a Franco-German masterpiece best known as the 1.6 THP. It's a masterpiece of technical flaws, the number of which is unimaginable. Although, when properly maintained, the engine can reward you with surprisingly good dynamics and decent fuel economy. However, it's not for everyone. You can read more about this engine in the text below. Its 1.5-liter successor, designated B38B15, performs much better, although opinions about it are mixed. Overall, it's a successful, durable, and fairly reliable unit, but it still requires proper maintenance. In 2.0-liter N-family engines, pre-facelift, special attention should be paid to the timing chain, which is estimated to last around 100,000 kilometers. It's worth replacing it at this mileage, even if it seems in good condition. A kit to replace 3 chains, sprockets, and other components costs around €1,500 to €2,500, depending on the parts supplier. Additionally, oil pumps, which don't last very long, have been problematic, so it's worth replacing them whenever the timing system needs to be serviced. The larger 6-cylinder N55 engine fares slightly worse compared to the 4-cylinder engine, with its timing drive and valvetronic system problems adding up. Repair costs double or even triple. The optimal choice for a pre-facelift car will therefore be 2-liter engines. I wouldn't recommend either the 1.6 or 3.0 engines, although both have their advantages, but only if they're very well maintained. The newer B-family petrol engines are much more refined, although, for example, the timing belt drive, located on the flywheel side, generates higher replacement costs. It's better to buy a car with this engine for a bit more money and thus save on potential repairs. It doesn't really matter whether you choose a 1.5 or 3.0 engine, although, of course, the larger the engine, the higher the repair and maintenance costs. The diesel engine lineup follows roughly the same principle as the gasoline engine lineup: 2-liter units for the frugal and 3-liter for those who enjoy speed. The 325D seems to be the optimal option, offering a good compromise between the costs of a smaller engine and the dynamics similar to a larger one. In N47 diesels, the timing chain requires special attention, while in the N57 it causes fewer problems, but any failure closely related to the number of cylinders will be more expensive. Although the N57 is considered a very good, durable engine, isolated cases of seized crankshaft bearings are becoming increasingly common. The modernized N47 was designated the B47 and initially experienced problems with the turbocharger and cooling system, but these were usually repaired under warranty. In summary, when it comes to diesels, I recommend any one, but be aware of the potentially higher repair costs than with petrol engines. In my opinion, the best versions of the BMW 3 Series F30 are the 2-liter petrol engines, preferably facelifted. One of the more serious issues with this car is worn bearings and broken teeth in the rear differential. BMW didn't take the time to ensure proper lubrication, so it's crucial to keep the oil fresh. It's a good idea to change it every 2 to 3 engine changes. Leaks should be checked. Vibrations during acceleration, or when letting off the gas while driving, may be caused by worn clutches connecting the shaft to the rear differential. There are obvious concerns about the durability of the xDrive system, which tended to wear out relatively early in older BMW models. The F30 series is no exception. Problems typically arise between 150,000 and 200,000 kilometers. The front drive shaft, you can buy a more durable one than the original, or the chain clutch drivetrain itself can wear out. You'll recognize the fault by the warning lights, possible jerking during acceleration, and wheel lockup while maneuvering in a parking lot, along with a distinct grinding sound. Transfer case regeneration costs between €2,000 and over €4,000, depending on the scope of the repair. Cracking headlight lenses, breaking taillight mounts, crumbling windshield seals, breaking mirror folding mechanisms, weak door seals, creaking rear door seals, or steering wheel when turning are minor but annoying problems that should not plague even 10-year-old premium cars. If you have any electrical issues, it's worth checking the power cable that runs from the trunk to the hood. The battery is located in the trunk, and the positive cable connects to the one under the hood via a special connector that's prone to corrosion. It's also a good idea to inspect the cable where it exits the trunk under the car. Fortunately, the suspension, braking, and steering systems are durable, and the entire car resists corrosion well. Repair costs will be high, especially for drivetrain components, from the engine to the differentials. Only the gearboxes are above average in durability, although regular oil changes are a must. Unfortunately, operating and repair costs can be considered high, as cheap components tend to break down.